Nothing lasts forever. So what actually matters? Buddhist wisdom. You already know that everything ends. You've known it since you were a child. You watch things break. You watch people leave. You've buried loved ones. Or you will. Your body is aging right now, as you listen to this. The moment you're in will never come again. This isn't news. We all know it. But every once in a while, something breaks through. A loss, a diagnosis, a quiet moment when the truth just lands. And in that moment, a question rises up. If everything ends, what actually matters? This isn't pessimism. This isn't philosophical entertainment. It's maybe the most honest question a human being can ask. And here's what's interesting. The Buddha started exactly here. He saw aging, sickness, death, and he couldn't look away. He couldn't pretend. He needed to know if there was anything that doesn't fall apart, anything that can't be taken away. He found something, and that's what we're going to explore. Not answers to memorize. Just an honest look at what actually matters, and whether the answer depends on how deeply you're willing to see. Impermanence. The ground beneath everything. Let's start with something obvious. So obvious that we usually overlook it. Everything changes. You've known this your whole life. You watched your toys break. You watched your grandparents grow old. You've seen relationships begin and end, jobs come and go, seasons turn. The coffee in your hand is getting colder as you hold it. The cells in your body are dying and being replaced right now as you listen to these words. Nothing, literally nothing, stays the same. In Buddhism, there's a word for this, anicca. It's usually translated as impermanence, but that translation can make it sound abstract, philosophical, like something you debate in a university classroom. It's not. It's the most concrete, undeniable fact of existence. The Buddha put it simply, sabbe sankhara anicca. All conditioned phenomena are impermanent. Everything that has causes, everything that came together from various conditions, will eventually fall apart when those conditions change. This isn't Buddhist doctrine, it's just observation. Look closely at anything, your body, your thoughts, your emotions, even this present moment, and you'll see it arising, changing, and passing away. Now, the first time this really lands, not just as an idea, but as something felt, the response is often something like dread. If nothing lasts, then what's the point? Why build anything? Why love anyone? Why try at all? This is a natural response, and it's worth sitting with for a moment, because if we rush past it, we miss something important. But here's a question worth considering. What would reality actually be like if nothing ever changed? Think about it. If nothing changed, your pain would never end. That mistake you made 10 years ago, you'd be frozen in it forever. That grief you're carrying, no possibility of healing. That difficult situation you're in, no chance of resolution. You would be locked in whatever state you're in right now for eternity. Impermanence isn't the enemy. It's the condition of all possibility. It's the reason music can exist, because music is change over time. It's the reason stories can be told, because stories are transformation. It's the reason love can deepen, because love grows through shared experiences, through weathering change together. The suffering often comes not from change itself, but from our resistance to it. And this brings us to something subtle but important. Buddhism talks about two ways of looking at reality. The first is called samudhisaka, conventional truth. This is the level at which we live our daily lives. At this level, your name matters. Your family matters. Your work matters. These things are real in the sense that they have practical significance for how you navigate the world. The second is called Paramatha Sakha, ultimate truth. This is what you see when you look deeper, beneath the surface of things. At this level, everything we call self or mine is revealed to be a process, a constantly changing flow of physical sensations, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and moments of consciousness. There's no fixed entity at the center, just movement, just arising and passing away. Now here's what's important. These two truths don't contradict each other. They're not true and false. They're different depths of looking at the same reality. Like how you can look at the ocean and see waves, individual, distinct, each with its own character. Or you can look deeper and see that it's all water, all one interconnected movement. Both perspectives are valid. They just reveal different things. And what matters also depends on which depth you're looking from. At the level of everyday life, certain things genuinely matter. But there may also be something that matters at a deeper level, something we often overlook. So let's go there. Let's look at what matters at each level, starting with the life you're already living. What matters in everyday life? There's a common misunderstanding about Buddhism that's worth addressing. People sometimes think that Buddhist teaching is fundamentally world-denying, that the whole point is to renounce everything, detach from everyone, escape to a monastery, and leave ordinary life behind. That relationships, work, family, all of it is just illusion to be transcended. This is a serious misreading. And if you look at what the Buddha actually taught, you'll find something quite different. The Buddha spent an enormous amount of time teaching lay people, householders, merchants, farmers, kings, servants, people with families, jobs, responsibilities, people who weren't going to ordain as monks or nuns. And he didn't tell them, none of this matters, just wait for your next life. He told them, here's how to live well, here's how to treat your parents, here's how to be a good spouse, here's how to raise children, here's how to be a trustworthy friend, here's how to work honestly. There's a teaching called the Sigalovada Sutta, sometimes referred to as the layperson's code of discipline, where the Buddha gives detailed practical guidance on how to navigate the web of human relationships. It's remarkably grounded. He talks about the duties between parents and children, between spouses, between friends, between teachers and students, between employers and employees. He treats these relationships as significant, as worthy of care and attention. So let's be clear. At the level of everyday life, things matter. Your kindness matters. Your honesty matters. How you treat people matters. And this isn't just some nice idea floating in the abstract. It has real consequences. The Buddha talked about kamma, often spelled karma in English. And this word has been so misused in popular culture that it's worth clarifying what it actually means. Kamma isn't cosmic punishment or reward. It's not some magical force keeping score. In its simplest sense, kamma means action, and the principle is that actions have consequences. How you act shapes who you become. How you speak shapes your relationships. How you earn your living shapes the world you inhabit. Generosity, kindness, honesty, compassion. These aren't just morally good in some abstract sense. They lead to tangible outcomes. Trust, connection, peace of mind, a life you can look back on without regret. And these consequences don't just play out in the immediate moment. According to the Buddha's teaching, they ripple forward, into the rest of your life, and even beyond this lifetime. Actions have weight. They matter. So yes, at this level, there's much that's real and worth caring for. Your relationships, your integrity, your contribution to the people around you. The Buddha never dismissed any of this. And yet, even the best life, lived with care, surrounded by love, filled with meaningful work, remains subject to change. You can do everything right and still lose what you cherish. Not because the universe is unfair, but because that's simply how conditioned things work. What comes together, comes apart. What arises, passes away. This isn't meant to be depressing. It's just honest. And it opens a question that's worth asking. Is there something that can't be taken away? Is there a peace that doesn't depend on conditions? The Buddha said yes. But to see it, we have to be willing to look deeper. What matters when you look deeper? There's a pattern that many of us recognize in ourselves, trying to arrange conditions so that we can finally be happy. The right relationship, the right job, the right amount of money, the right health, the right circumstances. And when we get them, we feel good. At least for a while. And when we lose them, or when they're threatened, we suffer. This is understandable. This is what most self-help teaches. Minimize pain, maximize pleasure, optimize your circumstances. But the Buddha pointed to something more radical. He wasn't just offering tips for a better life. He was asking a deeper question. Is there a happiness that doesn't depend on conditions at all? His teaching can be summarized in one line, a line he repeated throughout his life. Both formerly and now, I teach only suffering and the cessation of suffering. Not happiness strategies, not better coping mechanisms, not a more positive mindset. The complete uprooting of the cause of dissatisfaction. That's a significant claim. And it raises an obvious question. What is the cause? What's the root of all this? The Buddha's answer was precise. It's not that life is painful, though sometimes it is. It's not that change is bad. Change is just change. The root is tanha, usually translated as craving or thirst. It's that quality in the mind that's always reaching for something else. Always wanting this moment to be different. Always grasping at what's pleasant, pushing away what's unpleasant, and feeling vaguely dissatisfied even when things are neutral. And here's the key insight, that thirst doesn't come from the objects we desire. It comes from within. It's a pattern in the mind, which means it can be seen, understood, and released. This brings us to the word that's perhaps most misunderstood in all of Buddhism, nibbana. In popular imagination, nibbana is some kind of spiritual paradise, a place you go. But that's not what the word means. Nibbana literally means extinguishing, like a flame going out. What gets extinguished? Not you, not life, not joy. What gets extinguished is the craving, the aversion, and the delusion that keep the mind in a state of constant agitation. Consider this. If your peace depends on having something, a person, a possession, a status, a feeling, then your peace can always be disturbed. The moment that thing is threatened, your peace wavers. You're essentially building on a foundation that can shift at any time. Nibbana is peace that doesn't depend on having anything at all, not because you've become numb or indifferent, but because the compulsion to grasp has fallen away. You can still enjoy things. You can still love. You can still engage fully with life. But you're not imprisoned by the need for things to be a certain way. Why does this matter more than anything else? Not because everyday life is worthless. We've already established that it's not. But because this is the only thing that can't be taken from you. Your health can fail. Your loved ones can pass away. Your wealth can disappear. Your reputation can change. Everything conditioned is subject to change. But liberation, once realized, is irreversible. It's not a possession that can be lost. It's a seeing through, a release, a freedom that doesn't depend on conditions. The Buddha called Nibbana the highest happiness, Paramam Sukham, not because it feels more intense than other pleasures, but because it's the only happiness that doesn't come with a hidden expiration date. This might sound impossibly distant, something for monks in caves, not for ordinary people with jobs and families and responsibilities. But here's what the Buddha actually taught. This freedom is available to anyone who's willing to walk the path. And the path doesn't require you to leave your life. It requires you to transform how you live it. A path you can walk without leaving your life. There's a quiet assumption in a lot of spiritual teaching that real transformation requires dramatic renunciation. Quit your job, leave your family, move to an ashram, shave your head. Only then can you hope to touch something deeper. The Buddha didn't teach this as a universal requirement. He outlined a path, the noble Eightfold Path, that is walkable by anyone, anywhere. And when you look at what it actually involves, you realize it's not about where you live or what you do for work. It's about how you see, how you think, how you speak, how you act, how you direct your attention. The 8 factors are right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. None of these require a monastery. All of them can be practiced while raising children, while working a job, while living in a city, while navigating relationships. And this isn't just theoretical. The Buddha explicitly acknowledged that lay people living ordinary lives in the world, could realize the deepest truths. The householder Sita was declared the foremost male lay disciple in teaching the Dhamma. Kujutara, a palace servant, is traditionally said to have attained stream entry, the first stage of awakening, while still working in the royal court. King Bimbisara is traditionally regarded as a noble lay disciple who realized the Dhamma while carrying out his responsibilities. Liberation within a single lifetime isn't reserved for renunciants. It's available to anyone who walks the path with sincerity and consistency. So how do these 8 factors actually work together in daily life? Think of them not as a checklist you complete in sequence, but as 8 spokes of a wheel. All of them support each other. All of them turn together. Right view and right intention are about how you see the world and what you're aiming for. This is the compass. When you begin to understand the nature of suffering and the possibility of freedom, your intentions naturally start to align with that understanding. The orientation begins to shift, from accumulating to releasing, from grasping to understanding. This shift doesn't require any external change. It happens in the mind. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood are about how you actually show up in the world. Not harming, not deceiving, not earning your living in ways that cause suffering to yourself or others. This is where the path touches your everyday life most directly. You can practice this as a parent, as a professional, as a friend, as a neighbor. It doesn't require a special environment. It requires honesty and care. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration are about training the mind. This is where meditation comes in, but perhaps not in the way people often imagine. You don't need to sit for hours in silence. Even 15 minutes of genuine attention each day can begin to shift the patterns of your mind. The key is consistency, not intensity. You're learning to see what's actually happening in your experience, moment by moment. The arising and passing of sensations, feelings, thoughts. You're learning to be less automatically pushed around by craving and aversion. And here's something beautiful about this path. These factors strengthen each other. Living ethically creates the mental stability that makes meditation possible. Meditation creates the clarity that allows you to see reality more clearly. Seeing reality more clearly naturally leads to more ethical living. It's not a ladder you climb once and then you're done. It's a spiral that deepens over time. The most important thing about this path is this: you don't need to be perfect to benefit from it. You don't need to have some dramatic spiritual experience. Every step brings benefit, not just at the end, but right now, in this life. You don't need to renounce everything. You need to change your relationship to everything. Love without clutching so tightly. Work without being enslaved by outcomes. Enjoy life while knowing that it's not the whole story. Each moment you notice craving arising, and you let it pass instead of acting on it. That's practice. Each time you speak with kindness when you could have been harsh, that's the path. Each breath you observe with full attention, that's a step toward freedom. You don't need to wait for some future enlightenment to experience less suffering. The path is the goal. Walking is arriving. So we return to the question we started with. If everything ends, what actually matters? Perhaps it's this: to love what's here without demanding it stay forever. To care for what's in front of you without losing yourself when it changes. To walk through this impermanent world with a heart that's learning, slowly, to let go. Not letting go of life, letting go of the struggle against life. The Buddha's last words, according to tradition, were an invitation. All conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence. Not a command, an invitation. The path is here. The door is open. What you do next is up to you.